his gloves, but I wasn't able to get to the pitch. The ball just bounces agonisingly in between himself and Johan Botha. Went high into the night sky, as you say. Really difficult catch to attempt, but led off for the Sydney Sixers.
Well, they are swinging, these two, because they know the power that comes with Dan Christian and Carlos Brathwaite to come. And two batsmen famously have hit 4 sixes in consecutive deliveries in big matches. This is played into the offside, reaching forward as Silk. He'll pick up one, probably just that one. They're going to push for the second. They'll get there just about. Bale's whipped off, but the good running from the partnership of Hughes and Silk. And it is 42 needed from 22 deliveries. Yeah, of course, Carlos Brathwaite's 4 sixes off Ben Stokes in the 2016 T20 World Cup final to win that tournament for the West Indies. And Dan Christian off Liam Livingstone in the semi-final of the T20 Blast just a couple of months ago at Edgbaston, before he then went on to take 4 wickets in the final for a player of the match performance. So in Brathwaite and Christian, you've got some real power to come, so there's plenty left in the tank. But Silk on strike is swinging hard. Again, it goes out towards deep cover, but just the one run. You feel a boundary is possibly needed. 11.45 and over becomes 11.71 needed and over. It is this point in the innings where things can start getting a little bit awkward and you can get stuck and you see batsmen getting frustrated. 138 for 3.
A little bit of tension comes in. You know you need the boundary. You know you can't be chewing up balls, especially, as you say, with Christian and Brathwaite. They've got some hitters to come in. So really, really important part of the game now for both sides. Hobart Hurricanes will know if they can keep kind of damage limitation, 1s and 2s, maybe the odd 4 every now and again. That rate will keep climbing and the Sydney Sixers will come under more pressure.
Ellis sprinting in and well timed, because the ball had the pace taken off it and he doesn't read it at all. 107.8 kilometres an hour to Hughes, who tries to shovel it into the leg side and doesn't get there, and the run rate now hits that 12 per over mark. 40 needed from 20. It makes a bit of a psychological difference when you know you need 2 runs a ball. Ellis will be looking to close out this over. 2 balls left of it without conceding a boundary. Silk has 10 from 8. Hughes 8 from 9. It is Silk on strike. Right-hander, tall at the crease, as Ellis is into him, swinging hard out into the offside without much timing. Just the 1 run taken, and they can begin to start thinking about turning the screw here, Hobart Hurricanes. And for the Sixers, is how they get out of this hole.
Yeah, they've got to find the middle of the bat soon. Hughes is 8 from 9. Jordan Silk 11 from 9. So both faced enough balls now where they need to have a good feel of the pitch and decide how they're going to attack, where they're going to attack. There is a short boundary here at the Bell Reeves. To the offside is the left-handed Hughes facing now. So they've got options should there be presented by the Hobart Hurricanes bowlers, but so far it's been really good over from Ellis.
Powerfully built Ellis running in now, right arm over, full toss, which is whipped away, nicely timed, but again straight to the hands of the fielder, and it'll just be the 1 run to finish the over. So 17 gone, 38 needed from 18 balls. Ellis has bowled 3 overs, none for 28, but that was a really good pressure building 6 deliveries. And though there is a smile and a punch of the gloves between the 2 batsmen, I almost feel, Timal, that this is, in limited overs cricket, this is agony for batsmen who know they've got to get on with it. They're trying, and you know, get out or hit out, and they can't do either. And
yeah.
It feels horrible.
It's true. Well, I can't say I ever know the feeling. I'm normally sat in the hutch now, number 10 or 11, just hoping that A, I don't have to bat, and B, that the lads are able to knock off the total. But you're right, it must be a stress-inducing time when you know you need to get on with it. You can see, you look at the scoreboard, the rate's going up and up and up, over 12.6 now. So they know that every ball now is a big event. Every ball now needs to have a chance of going for a boundary. The quick bowler's coming back on to bowl his last over. Riley Meredith, he's got 1 for 25 from 3 so far, been bowling over 150 Ks, so it's not going to be easy, but they're going to have to find a way, the Sydney Sixers batters, if they're going to chase down this total. 38 needed now from 18.
Hughes will be on strike. Meredith into his final over, 1 for 25 from him, running in now. Right arm over, quick delivery, quick, too quick for Hughes. Through to the keeper it goes. The required rate 13.4. Riley Meredith, whose name and appearance looks like it should perhaps be part of a remake of A Christmas Carol to be on our screens at some point this year. There is something very 19th century about everything about Riley Meredith, apart from the entire purple outfit that he's running in. He's got the hair swept back, the big handlebar moustache, and he's running in now. With Hughes on strike, 38 needed from 17. Chasing a wide delivery, playing on. Well, there's the wicket that the Hobart Hurricanes, well, the celebration says they were looking for, but in some ways would have been slightly fearing, because this partnership was stuck. And it is 38 needed from 16 balls, so it is a dot. That is valuable. Hughes goes for 9 from 12. But Dan Christian or Carlos Brathwaite will come out now, and those two are more threatening in terms of getting the boundaries that could win the Sydney Sixers this game. Yep, very true. But in 2020 cricket, you never turn down wickets, you never turn down dot balls, and obviously Riley Meredith's just got 2 of those there. Daniel Hughes goes for 9. It was a wide ball from Riley Meredith, looking to go for the wide Yorker. He overpitched. It was a full toss. No foot movement, a big swing of the bat, and he gets the inside edge back onto his stumps, and it is Dan Christian to come out. He'd have been there, seen it all around the world in T20 cricket. Man of many games, many innings, many situations, many trophies. Can he step up to the plate here and see his side home? 38 from 16 now, so not long, and quite a few runs to get. 38 needed from 16. That's Dan Christian, formerly of the Hobart Hurricanes. He's played for the Renegades, he's played for the Brisbane Heat as well. He's vastly experienced. As Simon said before this game, he's played for, feels like, about 48 different franchise teams around the world. He knows these situations, he's been there before. He's not a bad man to have coming in. Bat taped up, waiting. Christian on strike, and ball that chases him, he swivels on it, picks up 1 with a mistimed pull into the leg side to bring Silk back on strike. So 37 needed from 15 balls, just shy of 15 runs per over. There's a bowler here. What are you looking?
I think it's tough with a short boundary. You have to have that in mind. You have to keep it in mind. I think it's on the offside to the right-hander at the moment, so you want to be bowling short, in at the body, take advantage of the big side on the leg side. You've got to mix up your pace, because you know the batsmen are going to be swinging hard.
Meredith to Silk, pace taken off that delivery, but he reads it, swings hard. Jacks doesn't field cleanly, but does well enough to prevent anything more than just the 1. And so the pressure continues to build. 36 needed from 14.
Yeah, so mixing up the pace, as you say, 125 kilometres an hour. That's the big weapon. When you can bowl 150, as Riley Meredith can, if you've got to change your pace as well, it makes it that bit more effective. So you choose the short ball as well, especially new batsman. Christian on strike, only faced a ball. He's not going to have the feel of the pitch. The bowlers, so if you can rough him up with a short ball maybe as well, could sky one or just miss it.
Christian on strike, 1 from 1. Again, a ball that chases him. It's more looking to find the big shot on the leg side. Doesn't time it, gets 1. What an over this has been from Riley Meredith. It really has been astounding good bowling. And 1 ball left to the over. 144 for 4, 35 needed from 13 deliveries. It's not long to get quite a lot of runs here. He bowled out after the next delivery, Meredith. Silk on strike, 12 from 10. Can Meredith see out his spell with a dot or 1? Well, it's a full toss, hit into the leg side. It's going to drop short of the fielder, though. And Will Jacks will throw in with just a single take, and applause around Belrive Oval for an excellent spell. 2 for 29 for Riley Meredith. And with 2 overs remaining, the Sydney Sixers, the champions from last year, need 34 runs to win from just 12 balls. Yeah, really good spell from Riley Meredith. Express pace, good change-ups, and more importantly, a couple of wickets as well. But he has bowled out. Hobart Hurricanes captain Peter Hanscom using to use Riley Meredith's last over up with a couple to go, just to get that run rate climbing even higher. So successful from that point of view. 34 needed from 12. So 17 required from each of the last 2 overs if they were to get there in the allotted time. Jordan Silk 13 from 11. Dan Christian only faced 2 balls. He's got 2 from those. So Nathan Ellis now to complete his spell. Silk on strike, 13 from 11. They dearly need a boundary, the Sydney Sixers. And Silk goes high into the offside. Has it got the legs? Will it be taken? It's a catch. Surrey man Jacks hangs on in the deep. And Silk looking for that boundary. gets a little underneath it, doesn't time it right. And a first wicket in the competition for Ellis. Sees another wicket go down for the Sydney Sixers. 145 for 5, 34 needed from 11. And of course, a wicket means it's also a dot.
Yeah, I think Silk will be disappointed because that ball was there to hit. He shuffled outside the off stump. The ball was put in the slot from Nathan Ellis, but just didn't time it well enough. He was down on one knee, but the ball went higher than it did far. And Will Jacks takes a comfortable catch at long off. He goes for 13. Carlos Brathwaite now comes to the crease. Can he repeat heroics that we all know very well?
Yep. Brathwaite is a dangerous cricketer. We know that. England know that. 18 needed, as in the runs per over. 18 is the runs required per over. 34 still needed. From the remaining balls left, 11 of them in the innings. So we can see on our monitors the replay of Carlos Brathwaite's 4 sixes to win the T20 World Cup for West Indies back in 2016. Incredible moment as they won that tournament, beating England by 4 wickets. He's not on strike at the moment, though. It's Dan Christian at the other end. With Brathwaite looking on, waiting for his opportunity. 34 needed from 11. Ellis is in to Christian. Again, it's full, but this time there's a swing and a miss. And it's a dot ball. This is drifting away from the Sydney Sixers now. Yeah,
excellent Yorker from Nathan Ellis. Under pressure, knows that the batsmen are going to be looking to hit sixes, but crushes in a wide Yorker. Dan Christian, just a swing and a miss. Really, really impressive bowling from the Hobart Hurricanes all throughout this innings, really. But really stepping up now at this death portion of the innings.
It's amazing how this game's tumbled away from them. The Sixers, 34 needed from 10. Christian on strike. He waits and he's almost falling off his feet as he swings so hard at a delivery, which has been signalled wide.
Harsh for me, that.
I think it was a little harsh.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that one. Danny Christian had given himself room, but for me, Nathan Ellis still stayed within those tram lines, which are there as a guide. I'm sure we'll see a replay shortly. Peter Hanscom wasn't too happy behind the stumps either, captain and wicket-keeper, but got to re-bowl it.
33 from 10 needed. Christian is 2 from 3. He gets something on that. Down the ground it goes. The fielder running round will pick up on the bounce before it reaches the boundary. Brathwaite sprints back to the non-striker's end. 2 taken. But it isn't the boundary. 31 needed from 9. If you consider how easily they reached that bonus point halfway through this run chase. They needed 73 from the first 10 overs, the Sydney Sixers. They got there inside 9. At that stage, with a partnership worth over 100 between, well, both James Vince and Jack Edwards, at that point they were cruising. 31 needed from 9. Christian on strike is a full toss. Could be signalled a no ball. That it's in the air. Will the catch be taken? No, it'll drop well short of the field. The throw comes in, misses. 31 needed from 9. Becomes 29 from 8. 150 up, 150 for 5. Christian on 6, and Brathwaite yet to get off the mark. 150 for 5, the Sydney Sixers score. This game has drifted away from them. 29 needed from 8 deliveries. Dan Christian and Carlos Brathwaite out in the middle, looking to see if they can possibly rescue this game against the odds. And credit as well goes to James Vince for getting a good score for the Sixers. He made 67, but since his dismissal, things have just tumbled away for them. And it looks as though, unless something miraculous, I should say, can happen, that this is going to be the Hobart Hurricanes game. 25 needed from 7 deliveries. It's a thriller to start this year's Big Bash League. Brief update for our listeners on Radio 5 Live. The boundary is struck by Dan Christian into the leg side. That's important runs. 25 needed from 7. Ellis into bowl to Christian. Moving around in the crease, swinging and missing. It's a dot ball, and the over concludes with 25 needed from 6 balls. Over to you, Carlos Brathwaite.
Indeed, what can you do? Nathan Ellis gets a few fist bumps as he runs back to his fielding mark. He's gone for 37 from his 4 overs, but I think he's done really well. He bowled See a couple overs now at the death. He also bowled in the power surge early, so not easy times to bowl, but he held his nerve there. A couple of good Yorkers at the end. It's going to be Scott Boland just having a chat with his captain and wicket-keeper Peter Hanscom, just discussing field placings, tactics. He's gone for 31 from 3 so far, so not a great day for him, but that doesn't matter now. All that matters now is these 6 balls. 25 needed for the Sydney Sixers. Can Scott Boland hold his nerve, or will the Sydney Sixers batsmen, led by Carlos Brathwaite and Dan Christian, see them home?
Brathwaite has yet to face a ball, it's worth pointing that out, so he's got to not so much have a running start as opposed to be all out sprinting from the off. 25 from 6 balls. Boland, the ball in hand, and Brathwaite on strike. Right-handed, open stance, waiting, swinging into the leg side. Hard, he's going to pick up a single at least. It will just be that 1 run, so it is not the 6 that perhaps we were secretly all hoping for, just to rekindle some memories of what Brathwaite can do and keep this game a little more alive. 24 needed from 5. Is this, as a bowler, Timal, a situation you enjoy, or do you feel a bit of pressure?
Nah, you got to enjoy it. Obviously there is pressure, but if you're going to be a death bowler, you've got to want to be there. You've got to enjoy these type of moments. I think Scott Boland, he is in a preferable position where it's 2 right-handed batsmen on strike and the bigger boundary to the leg side, so he's bowling around the wicket to the right-handers, as we saw Dan Christian do.
Christian on strike with the bat in hand, chipping the ball in the air, and the catch is taken underneath the yellow cap. Tim David, who put one down earlier, shows safe hands, easier chance on this occasion, and with that the game surely goes to the Hobart Hurricanes. Christian trudges off, looking to try and work some sort of angle and just chipping the ball up to extra cover, where David crouches down and plucks the ball out of the air. 24 needed from 4. It's 155 for 6.
Yeah, it's really, really good bowling from Scott Boland. Gets the Yorker in. Dan Christian looking to access the offside by moving to the leg side, but wasn't quite able to get underneath the ball enough. And as you say, easy catch for Tim David. Brilliant work from the Hobart Hurricanes so far in these last 4 or 5 overs to close out this game so far. She's still 24 from 4 needed. Job's almost done, unless Ben Dorcius can come up with a little bit of magic. He is a left-handed batter, so he does have a short boundary to his leg side, but he is much more well known for his jobs with the ball in hand.
Boland continues round the wicket to bowl to Dorcius, swinging hard, looking to launch it into the sea, but doesn't time it well, and just picks up the 1 run. And the crowd know the reaction from those inside Bellerive supporting the Hurricanes. Well, they know, bar any no balls, wides, chaos, that this game's done, because 23 required from 3 deliveries. Not even the 6-hitting prowess of Carlos Brathwaite can do anything with that. He'll be on strike with Boland into him. It's very full, worked away into the leg side for 1. They'll turn and think about the second, but the throw comes in and they know that this game is over. It is the Hobart Hurricanes. When you consider, Timal, that at the start of the 14th over, or the 15th over I should say, they were just 2 wickets down, 120 on the board. Over before that, that partnership still going strong with 118 on the board. You know, they were in such a strong position.
Yeah, 100%. The Sydney Sixers will look back on this game and be disappointed from the position that they found themselves in.
Dorcius swinging hard, down the ground it goes. It's going to run towards the boundary, and it will be 4 runs. It's been a long time since we've seen a boundary. And Dorcius driving down the ground, picks up 4, gets a punch of the gloves from Brathwaite. The game's done, 18 needed from 1.
Yeah, you have to give credit to the Hobart Hurricanes bowlers from me. I thought Riley Meredith was excellent. Made a couple of breakthroughs, bowled really good pace. Nathan Ellis bowled really well at some tough points of the game, so they'll be really pleased with their work today.
Moving in the crease is Dorcius. He'll pick up 1 down the ground, nothing more, as it's collected by Darcy Short. And celebrations for the Hobart Hurricanes. They've beaten last year's winners, the Sydney Sixers, and in the end it's a fairly hefty margin as well, because they won this game by 16 runs. And at the halfway point, that seemed inconceivable. One that Sydney Sixers probably wouldn't get the win, but also to lose by that sort of margin. It's been some turnaround after the partnership between Vince and Edwards was broken. With 2 balls left of the 14th over, at that point the score moved to 118 for 2. Well, the wickets kept on falling and the innings tumbled away. 162 for 6 is how they finish. And it is a victory for the Hobart Hurricanes to start this competition. Tamar Mills, former Hurricanes bowler, you can appreciate, as you say, a really good final few overs with the ball from the Hurricanes.
Yeah, and I think they'll be really pleased with their day in general. I think after obviously a really, really poor start, the way the first couple of overs went, losing both openers without score, to get to climb up to score of over 170. Tim David in his first game scoring a really good 50. Colin Ingram also on debut getting a half century. They'd have been thrilled to get to 170, and then the bowlers, they just stuck in there, didn't they? Whilst James Vince and Jack Edwards were compiling good innings, they stuck in, they broke the partnerships, and then they bowled excellently at the death. So I think they'll be really pleased with that. A job really well done, and Sydney Sixers will be disappointed. But saying that, even though they lost the game, they still walk away with a point, having won the mini chase for 10 overs. So, still a long way to go, and a lot to play for in the rest of this Big Bash.
And just before we say goodbye, Tamal, what's our reflections on the new rule changes? We can't look at the X factor because no substitutions were made. We know that the Sydney Sixers at least have got something from this game in the bonus point from leading at the halfway point of the second innings. But I feel that the power surge is the bit that has had more of an impact on the game. That is the 2 extra power play overs that you can take, as opposed to being overs 5 and 6 in the batting innings, you can take after the 11th over. It feels like in this game they had quite a significant role. Yeah, and I think it had a positive role in the outcome of the game in general as a spectacle. It allowed essentially the Hobart Hurricanes to get a higher score than they probably would have. I spoke about the stat where they would have normally only maybe limped to maybe 140 or so, because when you lose those wickets in the first 2 overs, as they did, you often then go in your shell for the rest of the power play. But with those final 2 overs being moved from 5 and 6 to, I think they took 14 and 15 or 16 and 17, that allowed them to go harder later in the innings. So it allowed them to get a higher first innings score, which as a spectacle is what you want to see, isn't it? So I think, as you say, a tiny sample size, only 1 game, but so far so good. We'll see how the X Factor substitutions come into it as the tournament goes on, but I think everybody so far will be pleased with how this Big Bash has started. Yeah, absolutely. Tamal, lovely to have your company with us for this tournament opener in the Big Bash League. We'll hear plenty more from Tamar Mills on commentary with us over the forthcoming weeks, and we have got so much Big Bash cricket for you to look forward to, and I'll bring you details of what's to come in the next couple of days in a moment. But first of all, what's happened in this game? Well, victory for the Hobart Hurricanes. They've won by 16 runs, 178 for 8 from their innings first up, having been asked to bat first with half centuries, as Tamal mentions, for Colin Ingram with 55 and Tim David 58, both on debut for the Hobart Hurricanes. 3 wickets apiece for Dan Christian and Ben Dwarshuis. In response, well, the Sydney Sixers lost Josh Philippe in the first over for just the 1 run, but then came the big partnership worth 116 runs between Jack Edwards and James Vince. After that finished, we saw a little bit of a tumble of wickets with nobody scoring more than 13. Jordan Silk made as many runs as anybody in that latter stage of the innings, but just tumbling away the run chase. And in some ways, you look at that power play power surge that was taken between Vince and Edwards, and it just seemed to cause a little bit of a confusion, and the run rate stuttered a little bit. And in the end, it is victory for the Hobart Hurricanes. 2 wickets apiece for Faulkner and Riley Meredith, 1 each for Ellis and Bolland. And the tournament victors last year have been beaten, with the Hobart Hurricanes winning this tournament opener by 16 runs. So lots to keep an eye on over the next few days here on 5 Live Sports Extra in terms of the Big Bash League. We've got tomorrow the Melbourne Stars against the Brisbane Heat, on air at 8:10 tomorrow morning. On Saturday, it is the Melbourne Renegades against the Perth Scorchers. And then on Sunday, the Sydney Sixers back in action against the Melbourne Renegades. It's so worth having a look on the BBC Sport website to keep an eye on all of the England players that are featuring in this tournament. We've seen plenty of England interest in this game, with the likes of Will Jackson, James Vince featuring, but there are so many England imports. We've heard news that Jake Ball is going to be joining the ranks as well, and you can see all the details of that on the BBC Sport website. So for the time being, we'll say goodbye, but thank you for your company. It's been hugely entertaining, this tournament opener in the Big Bash League. The Hobart Hurricanes victorious. They've won at Belrive Oval against the Sydney Sixers by 16 runs.
Coming up in 2021 on 5 Live
and 5 Live Sports Extra.
Live Champions League, Premier League and international football.
Ronaldo does a step over. Ronaldo on a hat-trick. Oh, that's brilliant.
The Ashes.
He bowls to Stokes, who hammers it for 4. I can't believe we've seen that.
the Ryder Cup.
Francesco Molinari wins the Ryder Cup back for Europe.
Wimbledon.
Into the net from Williams. Halep has done it, and the little powerhouse from Romania is Wimbledon champion for the first time.
BBC Radio 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra.
The voice of sport.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Celebrates another straight sets victory. First couple of rounds safely negotiated.
Serena and her elder sister Venus Williams are making the walk of champions.
Every single one of these Grand Slam wins means so much.
Plus ATP Tour finals and Davis Cup.
What an extraordinary spectacle. This does not feel like it can be happening.
Well, what a time. The longest and the most intense rally of the match.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including football, with live coverage from the Premier League.
Harry Kane inside the penalty area. Harry Kane finds the back of the net.
Lukaku shoots. Lukaku scores.
FA Cup and EFL Cup.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg. Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Plus, live action from the Women's Super League, Champions League and international fixtures.
With the free kick, she goes low into the far corner, and the header is there. Brilliant run at the back post, and Nikita Paris gives England the perfect start to the second half.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Curran comes in over the wickets. Ball and England win! Amazing from Tom Curran. He picks up 5 wickets, jumps in the air.
Athletics, swimming, tennis.
Halep's back and into the net. And at last, Caroline Wozniacki is a Grand Slam champion.
Rugby League, Formula One, golf.
Good speed. Oh, it does more than a 360. That is a wicked one.
Rugby Union.
It's intercepted by Johnny May, and May's going to score, no question.
Boxing, football.
Steph Horton with the free kick, she goes low into the far corner.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including cricket.
Shrubsole in now. Bowser! 6 wickets for Henry Shrubsole. England's hero. England win the World Cup.
Athletics, swimming, boxing.
Trying to get away from danger, trying to find some sanctuary somewhere in the ring.
Formula One. Golf, Rugby League.
Luke Gale tries this time. Luke Gale!
Rugby Union, tennis, football.
Wigan with a cross from the left. Will Grigg! Goal! It's Will Grigg to put Wigan 1-0 up in the FA Cup.
Visit bbc.co.uk/5live for full listings. More live sport, pure live sport. You're listening to 5 Live Sports Extra. More live sport, pure live sport. This is 5 Live Sports Extra. As 5 Live brings you one event, 5 Live Sports Extra brings you another. Live and uninterrupted, including Rugby Union, with live coverage from the English Premiership, the Challenge Cup and Pro 14s.
What a long overhead pass. Oh, it's taken there by Nathan Hughes. He's up to the line and over. An opponent, lovely ball from Farrell to Jamie George, who's seen some space, and George is under the post.
Plus, international fixtures, including the Six Nations, Rugby World Cup and Autumn Internationals.
The underdogs have barked loudly.
What a take